What would you do if a billionaire offered you $25 million to marry him? Before you answer, know this. Sophia Williams said yes at 40,000 feet, trapped in a private jet with a man she'd never spoken to. What happened next wasn't a fairy tale. It was a contract written in turbulence, signed in desperation, and paid for in ways money can't measure. This is the story of how a cleaning woman on a private jet became the most expensive wife in the world, and why she would spend the next 6 months wishing she'd said no. Hey besties, before we dive into this beautiful story, tell me where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe and like so I can share more heart-stopping stories with you tomorrow. Love you guys. Now let's begin. The private jet shuddered violently as it cut through a storm over the Atlantic. Sophia's hands gripped the cleaning cart. Her knuckles white as lightning split the sky outside the oval windows. She had cleaned dozens of jets in the past 2 years, scrubbed champagne from Italian leather, vacuumed crumbs from Persian rugs, but tonight felt different. The cabin was too quiet, too still. And the man sitting in the back, the one who hadn't said a word since takeoff, radiated a coldness that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. Henry Cross. She had read about him in business magazines while waiting at the airport. 32 years old. CEO of Cybernex, the AI surveillance company that had just been valued at $80 billion. Mixed race, black father, French mother, though the articles always seemed to focus more on his ruthlessness than his heritage. 3 months ago, he orchestrated a hostile takeover of a manufacturing company in Ohio, shuttering factories overnight. 3,000 people lost their jobs. He didn't blink. Sophia kept her head down, spraying disinfectant on the mahogany side table near his seat. Don't look at him. Don't exist. That was the rule for people like her. Invisible labor for invisible people. Then his phone rang. The sound cut through the cabin like a blade. She heard him answer in French, his voice low and clipped, but even without understanding the words, she recognized the tone. Grief. Raw and unfiltered. He hung up. The silence that followed was suffocating. Sophia moved toward the galley, but his voice stopped her cold. You. What's your name? She turned slowly. His eyes were dark-shadowed, but piercing. He wasn't looking at her the way most clients did, with indifference or barely concealed disdain. He was looking at her like she was a problem he needed to solve. Sophia, sir. Sophia Williams. How long have you worked for Skylux? 2 years. Family? She hesitated. This was not normal. Clients didn't ask about family. My mother and younger brother, sir. In Atlanta. He leaned back in his seat, his jaw tight. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he pulled out his phone, typed something, and looked at her again. I need a wife. Sophia blinked. The words didn't make sense. Excuse me. I need someone to marry me. 6 months. Public appearances, board meetings, family events. You'll live in my penthouse in San Francisco. You'll sign an NDA. You'll never speak to the press. His tone was flat, transactional, like he was negotiating a merger. In return, you'll receive $5 million up front and $20 million after the contract ends. Her heart slammed against her ribs. $25 million. The number was incomprehensible. It was more money than her mother would see in 10 lifetimes. More than enough to pay for her brother's medical bills, to save their house, to finally breathe. Why me? She whispered. Because you're nobody, he said simply. No social media presence. No scandals. No ambition to claw your way into my world permanently. You're perfect. The words should have hurt. They did hurt. But Sophia had spent 2 years being nobody, watching rich people treat her like furniture, and she had learned to swallow her pride. This was different. This was survival. What's the catch? She asked, her voice steadier than she felt. No love. No emotion. No questions about my business. You do what I say when I say it. If you break the NDA, I'll destroy you. She believed him. Men like Henry Cross didn't make idle threats. I need an answer now, he said. Sophia thought of her brother, Elijah, 16 years old and fighting sickle cell disease in a hospital bed. She thought of her mother working 3 jobs, her hands worn raw from cleaning office buildings at night. She thought of the eviction notice taped to their front door. "Yes," she said. "I'll do it." He nodded once, as if he'd expected nothing less, and pulled out a tablet. "Sign here." The contract was 10 pages long, dense with legal jargon, but Sophia's hands moved on autopilot, scrawling her name at the bottom. When she finished, Henry stood and extended his hand. "Welcome to the Cross family, Mrs. Cross." His hand was warm. Hers was shaking. 3 days later, Sophia stood in the lobby of Henry's penthouse in San Francisco, her single suitcase looking absurdly small against the backdrop of floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay. The space was cold, all glass and steel and sharp edges. Not a single photograph. Not a single sign that a human being actually lived here. A woman in a sleek black suit appeared from a side hallway, her heels clicking against the marble floor. "Miss Williams. I'm Claire Donovan, Mr. Cross's assistant. He's asked me to go over the schedule." Sophia nodded, still trying to process the fact that this was real. That she was standing in a penthouse worth $30 million, about to pretend to be someone's wife. "Tomorrow night, you'll attend a gala at the Fairmont. Tech executives, venture capitalists, politicians. Your job is to smile, say nothing controversial, and stay by Mr. Cross's side. A stylist will arrive at 2 p.m. to prepare you. Do you have questions? Where's Henry?" Claire's expression didn't change. "Mr. Cross is in meetings. He'll see you at the gala." Of course. Sophia had signed a contract to be his wife, but she was still nobody. That night, alone in the guest bedroom that was larger than her entire apartment in Atlanta, Sophia called her mother. "Baby, are you okay?" Her mother's voice was thick with worry. "You said you got a new job, but you didn't say what." "I'm fine, Mama. Better than fine. I'm sending money tomorrow. Enough to cover Elijah's treatment and the house." Her mother was silent for a long time. Then, quietly, "Sophia, what did you do?" "I made a choice," Sophia said. "Trust me." She hung up before her mother could ask more questions, before the guilt could creep in and make her question everything. The next evening, the stylist transformed her. The woman was efficient, almost clinical, as she dressed Sophia in a floor-length emerald gown that clung to her curves, styled her natural curls into an elegant updo, and painted her lips a deep burgundy. When Sophia looked in the mirror, she barely recognized herself. "You look perfect," the stylist said with a satisfied nod. "Mr. Cross will be pleased." Would he? Sophia wasn't sure Henry Cross was capable of being pleased. At 7 p.m. sharp, a knock came at her door. She opened it to find Henry standing in the hallway, dressed in a black tuxedo that fit him like it had been sewn onto his body. For a moment, neither of them spoke. His eyes traveled over her slowly, and something flickered in his expression. Surprise? Approval? It was gone before she could name it. "Ready?" he asked. "As I'll ever be." In the car, he handed her a small velvet box. Inside was a ring, a flawless diamond surrounded by smaller emeralds. It was the most beautiful thing Sophia had ever seen, and it felt like a shackle. "Put it on," he said. "People will be watching." She slid it onto her finger. It fit perfectly. Of course it did. Henry Cross didn't do anything halfway. The Fairmont Hotel glittered like a palace. Cameras flashed as they stepped out of the car, reporters shouting questions that Henry ignored with practiced ease. His hand rested on the small of Sophia's back, guiding her through the crowd, and she tried not to think about how warm it felt, how solid. Inside, the ballroom was a sea of wealth. Women in designer gowns, men in tuxedos, champagne flowing like water. Sophia felt every eye on her, felt the weight of their judgment. She didn't belong here. They all knew it. A tall blonde woman approached, her smile sharp as a knife. "Henry, darling, you didn't tell me you were bringing a date." "Vanessa." His voice was cool. "This is my wife, Sophia." Vanessa's smile froze. "Wife? How delightful. I had no idea you were even seeing anyone." "It was a private ceremony," Henry said smoothly. "We prefer to keep our personal lives out of the press." Vanessa's eyes raked over Sophia, taking in every detail, every flaw. "How charming. And what do you do, Sophia?" I work in hospitality, Sophia said, keeping her voice steady. Oh, how nice. The condescension dripped from every word. Well, welcome to the family, darling. I'm sure you'll find it very educational. As Vanessa walked away, Sophia let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Who is that? My ex-fiancé, Henry said. Don't worry about her. But Sophia did worry. She could feel Vanessa's eyes on her for the rest of the night, could feel the whispers spreading like wildfire. Did you see Henry's wife? Where did she come from? I heard she's a maid. How embarrassing. If you're hooked on this story and want to see how Sophia handles the shark circling her, hit that subscribe button right now. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have signed that contract? And smash the like button because this is about to get so much messier. At midnight, after hours of forced smiles and polite small talk, they finally returned to the penthouse. Sophia's feet ached, her face hurt from smiling, and all she wanted was to collapse into bed. But as she kicked off her heels in the hallway, Henry's voice stopped her. You did well tonight. She turned, surprised. It was the closest thing to a compliment he'd given her. Thank you. He loosened his tie, his expression unreadable. Vanessa will try to make your life difficult. She doesn't like being replaced. Replaced? I thought you said this wasn't real. It's not, he said quickly. Too quickly. But to the world, it is. And Vanessa has a lot of influence in this city. Be careful. Why do you care? The question hung between them. For a moment, she thought he might actually answer. Then his walls came back up, smooth and impenetrable. I don't, he said. But you're an investment. I protect my investments. He walked away, leaving Sophia standing alone in the hallway, the ring heavy on her finger. The next morning, she woke to find a stack of newspapers on the kitchen counter. Every single one had a photo of her and Henry on the front page. Tech billionaire Henry Cross shocks Silicon Valley with secret marriage. Who is Sophia Williams? The mystery woman who captured Henry Cross's heart. Her phone buzzed. A text from Claire. You're trending on Twitter. Don't read the comments. Stay off social media. Mr. Cross will handle the press. But Sophia couldn't help herself. She opened Twitter and immediately regretted it. The comments were vicious. She's a gold digger. Obviously. Look at her. She doesn't belong in his world. I give it 6 months before he dumps her. She's probably pregnant. That's the only reason a man like Henry Cross would marry someone like her. Someone like her. The words burned. She was about to close the app when a private message popped up. It was from a journalist. Miss Williams, I'd love to interview you about your relationship with Henry Cross. I'm willing to pay for your story. Sophia deleted it immediately. The NDA was ironclad. One word to the press and Henry would destroy her. Over the next few weeks, Sophia learned to navigate her new world. Board meetings where she sat silently beside Henry, charity galas where she smiled for cameras, dinners with investors where she was expected to be decorative and quiet. She learned which fork to use, how to walk in heels without stumbling, how to deflect personal questions with polite vagueness. But she also learned things about Henry. The way he drank his coffee black at 5 a.m., standing by the window and staring at the city like he was trying to solve an impossible equation. The way his jaw tightened when his brother Julian called, their conversations always clipped and tense. The way he never, ever talked about his father. One night, 3 weeks into their arrangement, Sophia found him in his office at 2 a.m., his face illuminated by the blue glow of his laptop. She had woken up thirsty, padded to the kitchen for water, and seen the light under his door. She knocked softly. Henry. He looked up, startled. For the first time since she'd met him, he looked tired. Human. What are you doing up? He asked. I could ask you the same thing. He closed the laptop. Work. Sophia leaned against the doorframe. You're always working. Don't you ever sleep? Sleep is for people who don't have enemies. That sounds exhausting. He almost smiled. Almost. It is. She sat down in the chair across from him, and for a moment, they just looked at each other. The penthouse was silent except for the distant hum of the city below. Why did you really need a wife? Sophia asked. The truth. Henry's expression shuddered. I told you. Bored optics. That's not all of it. He was quiet for a long time. Then, so softly she almost didn't hear it, my grandmother is dying. She has 3 months. Maybe less. She wants to see me married before she goes. Sophia's chest tightened. I'm sorry. Don't be. She's the only person who ever saw me as more than a transaction. The only one who believed I could be better than my father. His voice was bitter. She's going to be disappointed. Why would she be disappointed? Because I'm exactly like him. Ruthless. Cold. I destroy things. It's what I'm good at. Sophia shook her head. You're not a destroyer. You're just scared. His eyes snapped to hers, sharp and defensive. You don't know me. Maybe not. But I know what fear looks like. I've worn it every day of my life. She stood, her heart pounding. You wanted someone who wouldn't ask questions, Henry. But maybe what you actually need is someone who will. She left before he could respond, her hands shaking as she closed the door behind her. The next morning, Henry was gone before she woke up. But there was a note on the kitchen counter in his precise handwriting. We're flying to Nice tomorrow. Pack for a week. Grandmother wants to meet you. Sophia's stomach dropped. She had signed up to play a role in boardrooms and ballrooms, not to lie to a dying woman. But she had also signed a contract. And $20 million was still waiting on the other side. The flight to Nice was tense. Henry worked on his laptop the entire time, barely speaking to her except to give instructions. When we land, let me do the talking. Don't mention the contract. Don't mention money. My grandmother is traditional. She'll ask about how we met. Keep it simple. What should I say? Sophia asked. That we met through work. That I knew immediately you were the one. That we got married quickly because when you know, you know. His voice was flat, reciting lines from a script he'd already written. Does she know about your company? About the surveillance scandal. His jaw tightened. She knows I run Cybernex. She doesn't know the details. Maybe she should. Stay out of it, Sophia. I'm just saying. I said stay out of it. His voice was sharp enough to draw blood. She turned away, looking out the window at the clouds below. This was a mistake. All of it. She should have stayed invisible, scrubbing jets and sending money home. At least then she could sleep at night. The villa in Nice was perched on a cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, white stone and terracotta tiles, gardens bursting with lavender and roses. It was beautiful. It was suffocating. Henry's grandmother, Eloise Cross, was waiting in the garden. She was small and elegant, her silver hair pulled into a bun, her dark eyes sharp despite the oxygen tube running to her nose. When she saw Henry, her face lit up. Mon cher, she said, opening her arms. Henry embraced her gently, and for a moment, Sophia saw something crack in his expression. Love. Real and unguarded. Then Eloise turned to Sophia, and her smile widened. So you're the woman who captured my grandson's heart. Sophia's throat tightened. It's an honor to meet you, Mrs. Cross. Please, call me Grandmère. Come, sit. Tell me everything. Over tea and pastries, Sophia spun the story Henry had prepared. They met at a business event. He was cold at first, but she saw through his armor. He pursued her relentlessly. They married quietly because they wanted something private, something theirs. Eloise listened, nodding, her eyes soft. But when Sophia finished, the old woman reached across the table and took her hand. You're lying, she said gently. Sophia froze. Beside her, Henry tensed. Grandmère. Hush, Henry. Let the girl speak. Eloise's gaze was kind but unyielding. I have spent 78 years on this earth. I know what love looks like. And this, ma chérie, this is not it. Sophia's heart hammered. The NDA flashed in her mind, Henry's warning. If you break this, I will destroy you. But she couldn't lie to this woman. Not when Eloise was looking at her like she mattered, like she was more than a transaction. You're right, Sophia said quietly. It's not love. Not yet. Henry's head snapped toward her, his eyes blazing with warning. But Sophia kept going. Your grandson needed someone to stand beside him. I needed a way to save my family. So we made a deal. But that doesn't mean it can't become something real. Eloise studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled. Honesty. How refreshing. Henry, you chose better than you know. Grandmère, I can explain. There is nothing to explain. You think I am scandalized? I married your grandfather after knowing him for 2 weeks. Love is not always a lightning strike. Sometimes it is a choice you make every day. She squeezed Sophia's hand. You seem like a woman who knows how to fight. Good. My grandson needs someone who will not let him become a monster. That night, after Eloise had gone to bed, Sophia found Henry on the terrace, staring at the dark sea. You shouldn't have told her, he said. She already knew. You violated the NDA. So sue me. He turned, his expression unreadable. Why did you do it? Because she deserves the truth. Because I'm tired of lying. Sophia stepped closer. You're so afraid of being like your father that you've forgotten how to be human. But your grandmother sees you, Henry. She sees the man you could be. Don't waste that. For a moment, she thought he might yell. Instead, he did something worse. He looked at her like she had just torn down a wall he'd spent years building, and he didn't know whether to thank her or hate her for it. My father used people, he said quietly. He built his empire on the backs of others and never looked back. I swore I'd never be like him. But every day, I look in the mirror and see his face. You're not him, Sophia said. He wouldn't have cared about your grandmother's wishes. He wouldn't have brought me here. I brought you here because of a contract. Maybe. But you also brought me here because some part of you wants to be better. That part, Henry, that's the part worth fighting for. He looked at her for a long time, and something shifted in the air between them. Something dangerous and inevitable. You should go to bed, he said finally. But as Sophia walked away, she felt his eyes on her back, and she knew that whatever this was, it wasn't just a contract anymore. The next morning, Sophia woke to find Henry's side of the villa empty. Claire informed her that he had flown back to San Francisco for an emergency board meeting. Crisis at the company. He'll be back in 2 days. Sophia spent those 2 days with Eloise, walking through the gardens, listening to stories about Henry's childhood. He was so serious, even as a boy. Always trying to fix things. Always carrying the weight of the world. His father was cruel. He made Henry believe that love was weakness. Is that why Henry is the way he is? Sophia asked. Eloise nodded sadly. He learned to survive by shutting people out. But you, ma chérie, you're different. You see him. That terrifies him. On the 3rd day, Sophia was in Henry's study at the villa, looking for a book to read, when she saw his laptop sitting open on the desk. She knew she shouldn't look. Knew it was a violation of trust. But something pulled her forward, and before she could stop herself, she was clicking through files. What she found made her blood run cold. Encrypted documents. Emails. Reports from foreign governments. Project Sentinel. AI surveillance technology sold to authoritarian regimes. Facial recognition used to track protesters. People disappeared. People died. And Henry knew. He had approved every sale. Sophia's hands shook as she read. This wasn't just corporate ruthlessness. This was complicity in atrocity. This was blood money. She heard footsteps behind her. Turned. Henry stood in the doorway, his face pale. Sophia. What is this? Her voice trembled. What did you do? It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is, Henry, because from where I'm standing, it looks like you sold technology that got people killed. He stepped into the room, his expression anguished. I didn't know. Not at first. By the time I found out, the contracts were signed. The board, they threatened to oust me if I tried to back out. My brother Julian, he leaked it to the press to destroy me. So you covered it up. I tried to fix it. I've been working with the FBI to expose the buyers, to shut down the program, but if it goes public now, Cybernex will collapse. Thousands of people will lose their jobs. My grandmother's legacy, everything she built, it will be destroyed. Sophia shook her head, tears burning her eyes. You can't fix this by hiding it, Henry. People died. I know. His voice cracked. I know. And I have to live with that every day. But if I go down, I'm taking innocent people with me. So what? You just keep lying? You just keep pretending you're not complicit? I'm trying to make it right. You can't make this right. Not by hiding. Sophia stepped closer, her heart breaking. I signed up to be your fake wife. I didn't sign up to cover up murder. Sophia, please. I need time to think. She left the study, her mind spinning. She had $20 million waiting for her. Her brother's life depended on that money. Her family's future. But how could she stay silent knowing what she knew? That night, Vanessa Beaumont showed up at the villa. Sophia saw her through the window, stepping out of a car, her blonde hair gleaming in the moonlight. Henry met her in the garden, and Sophia watched from the shadows as they argued. You can't keep running from this, Vanessa hissed. The FBI is closing in. If you don't cooperate, they'll destroy you. I'm handling it. By marrying some nobody and settling down? That's your grand plan. Stay away from Sophia. Vanessa laughed. Oh, this is rich. You actually care about her. Henry Cross, the man who destroys everything he touches, actually cares. I said stay away. Or what? You'll ruin me like you've ruined everyone else. Vanessa stepped closer, her voice dropping. I'm trying to save you, you idiot. Work with the FBI. Give them what they want. They'll offer you immunity. And let Julian take over Cybernex? Let him profit from my mistakes. Better that than prison. Henry turned away, his shoulders tense. Get out, Vanessa. Fine. But when this all comes crashing down, don't say I didn't warn you. Sophia waited until Vanessa was gone before stepping into the garden. Henry's back was to her, his hands clenched at his sides. How much did you hear? He asked without turning. Enough. He finally faced her, and in the moonlight, he looked lost. I don't know how to fix this, Sophia. I don't know how to be the man my grandmother thinks I am. Then stop trying to be perfect and just be honest. Tell the truth. Face the consequences. I can't. You mean you won't? If I go down, you don't get your money. Your brother, your family, they lose everything. Sophia's breath caught. Don't use my family as an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's the truth. You think I don't see what this money means to you? You think I don't know you're only here because you're desperate? His voice was harsh, but his eyes were pleading. If I destroy myself, I destroy you too. Maybe I don't want to be saved by blood money. The words hung between them, sharp and final. Henry stepped closer, and for the first time, she saw real fear in his eyes. Don't leave. Please. I'll fix this. I swear I'll fix this. Just give me time. Time for what? More lies. Time to be the man you think I can be. Sophia's heart twisted. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. But belief didn't erase the bodies. Belief didn't bring back the dead. I need to go home, she said quietly. I need to think. Sophia. Don't. Just don't. She walked back into the villa, leaving Henry standing alone in the garden, and for the first time since she'd signed that contract, Sophia wondered if any amount of money was worth this. The flight back to San Francisco was silent. Henry didn't try to stop her from leaving. He simply arranged for a car to take her to the airport, his face a mask of controlled devastation. At the terminal, he caught her hand. I'll wait, he said. However long it takes. Sophia pulled away. Don't wait for me, Henry. Fix yourself first. Back in Atlanta, Sophia collapsed into her mother's arms and cried for the first time in months. Her mother didn't ask questions, just held her, stroking her hair the way she had when Sophia was a child. Baby, whatever you're carrying, you don't have to carry it alone, her mother said. I don't know what to do, Mama. Then start by telling me the truth. So Sophia did. She told her mother everything. The contract, the fake marriage, the money, and finally, the files she'd found. The surveillance program. The deaths. Her mother listened without interrupting. When Sophia finished, she said quietly, What does your heart tell you to do? My heart says expose him. But my head says we need that money. Money won't mean anything if you can't live with yourself, baby. Sophia closed her eyes. What if I lose everything? Then we lose it together. But we lose it with our integrity intact. That night, Sophia made her decision. She contacted a journalist she trusted, one who had been investigating Cybernex for months. She handed over copies of the files, the emails, the evidence of Henry's complicity. And then she waited. The story broke 3 days later. Tech billionaire Henry Cross implicated in international surveillance scandal. AI technology sold to authoritarian regimes linked to deaths of protesters. Sophia's phone exploded with messages. From Claire, panicked and furious. From Henry's lawyer, threatening legal action. From Vanessa, surprisingly, a single text that said, "You did the right thing." But the message that mattered most came from Henry himself. Just 3 words. "I understand. Goodbye." Sophia stared at her phone, tears streaming down her face. She had destroyed him. She had kept her integrity, but she had destroyed the man she, despite everything, had started to care about. But 2 weeks later, everything changed again. Henry held a press conference. Sophia watched it live, her heart in her throat. He stood at a podium, his face gaunt but resolute. "I want to address the allegations against Cybernex and against me personally. The reports are true. Technology developed by my company was sold to foreign governments and used to suppress and harm innocent people. I was aware of these sales. I did not stop them. For that, I am deeply, unforgivably sorry." The room erupted in shouting. Reporters fired questions. Camera flashes lit up his face like lightning. Henry held up a hand. "I am cooperating fully with federal investigators. I am stepping down as CEO of Cybernex, effective immediately. All profits from the surveillance contracts will be donated to human rights organizations. And to the families affected, I know my apology means nothing. I know I can never undo the harm I've caused. But I will spend the rest of my life trying to make amends." He paused, his eyes finding the camera, and Sophia felt like he was looking directly at her. "Someone once told me that I was so afraid of becoming a monster that I forgot how to be human. She was right. I lost myself. But because of her, I'm going to try to find my way back." The press conference ended in chaos, but Sophia couldn't move. She sat frozen on her couch, tears streaming down her face as her phone rang. It was Henry. She answered. "Hello. I meant what I said." His voice was rough, exhausted. "You saved me, Sophia. You saved me from myself. I thought you'd hate me. I did. For about 10 minutes. Then I realized you were the only person brave enough to tell me the truth. What happens now? Now I face the consequences. The FBI has offered me a deal. Testify against the buyers, help dismantle the network, and I'll avoid prison. My company is gone. My reputation is destroyed. But I'm free." Sophia's chest ached. "I'm proud of you. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. But you're trying. That's more than most people do." There was a long silence. Then Henry said softly, "The contract is void. You won't get the money. I know. Your brother. We'll figure it out. We always do." "Sophia." His voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. For everything. I know. I forgive you." She heard him exhale, a sound like relief and grief tangled together. "Can I see you? When this is over? Maybe. Ask me again when you're not a wanted man." He laughed, a real laugh, and it made her heart hurt in the best way. 6 months later, Sophia was back in Atlanta, working at a nonprofit that helped formerly incarcerated people find jobs. The money from Henry never came, but her mother had started a GoFundMe for Elijah's medical bills, and the story of Sophia's bravery, the woman who exposed a billionaire's crimes, had gone viral. Donations poured in. They saved the house. Elijah got his treatment. And then, one afternoon, Sophia looked up from her desk to see Henry Cross standing in the doorway of her office. He looked different. Thinner. Tired. But his eyes were clear. "Hi," he said. "Hi. I finished testifying. The buyers are being prosecuted. Cybernex is being dismantled. I'm starting over." "Good." He stepped closer. "I came to apologize. In person. For using you. For putting you in an impossible position. For being a coward. You're not a coward anymore. I'm trying not to be." He pulled an envelope from his pocket. "This is for you. It's not 25 million. I don't have that anymore. But it's enough to cover your brother's medical bills. It's money I earned honestly, from selling my grandmother's villa. She left it to me. She passed last month." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "Henry, I'm so sorry. She asked about you. At the end. Told me not to let you go. What did you say? That I'd already lost you. That I didn't deserve a second chance. Sophia stood, closing the distance between them. What if I told you that people can change? That second chances are real. His breath hitched. I'd say I don't believe in fairy tales. Neither do I. But I believe in choice. And I'm choosing to give you another chance. Not because you're rich. Not because of a contract. But because I've seen who you really are. And I think that man is worth fighting for. Henry's eyes glistened. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He smiled, really smiled, and pulled her into his arms. This time, there was no contract. No cameras. No lies. Just two broken people choosing each other, choosing to rebuild something real from the ashes of who they used to be. Outside Sophia's office window, the Atlanta sun shone bright and warm, and for the first time in a long time, the future felt like a promise instead of a threat. Henry took her hand, and together, they walked out into the light, ready to write a new story. One built on truth, on choice, on love that had survived the fire and come out stronger. Because sometimes the best endings are really just new beginnings. And theirs was only just getting started. If this story made you believe in second chances, subscribe to this channel for more beautiful stories. Hit that like button if you think Sophia made the right choice, and drop a comment telling me what you would have done differently. Because love, real love, isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. Even when it costs everything. And sometimes, the most expensive contracts are the ones we write in our own hearts.